Today, we're going to look at a news article about the shocking use of child labour. We'll learn the stress, pronunciation and intonation. I'll also explain any difficult vocabulary. So let's start. Oh, don't forget my speaking club starts on the 18th of February. So time's running out. I'll read each sentence, then I'll underline the stress, mark the weak forms, and then the intonation. After we've studied each sentence, I'll read it again and then give you time to practice by copying me. This article exposes the shocking truth about child labour in the mining of cobalt that is used in everyday devices such as smartphones, laptops, and electric cars. Okay, let's start with CBS News. So, CBS News has reported that child labour, notice the stress, is being used in the dangerous mining of cobalt in the Democratic Republic of Congo. Okay, so that's all your stresses there. Let's now go on to the weak forms. So CBS News has reported. Now, CBS News has reported. So we have, this is a functional word, so it's normally weak, so we use the schwa for this weak form here, has reported that child labour, and here we have, of course, the schwa here for this OUR ending. Child labour is being used in the dangerous, of course this is the, in the, not the, because it's followed by a d, consonant d. Dangerous. So here we have the schwa, again, dangerous. So you've got two schwas, the OUS ending. Dangerous mining of another function word, of cobalt in the Democratic Republic of Congo. So those are your stresses and weak forms. Let's do the linking. Now, in CBS, the B links to the S, but it has to be linked with a Y sound. So CBS News has reported that child labour is being used in the dangerous mining of cobalt in the Democratic Republic of Congo. Okay, so I can't see any more linking there. Let's go to the intonation. CBS News, news. Okay, so notice there's nearly always, a rise in the intonation here when there's a stress here, okay? When there's a stress on the syllable, or if there's one syllable in this word, but we say the word as news, okay? New, and here, news, because we've got more to say. CBS News has reported, okay, stress, has reported that child labour, one stress, so it goes up, it's reported that child labour, can you hear it? Labour is being used in the dangerous mining of cobalt in the Democratic Republic, so Republic of Congo. See? And it comes down here, and it's the end of the sentence. CBS News has reported that child labour is being used in the dangerous mining of cobalt in the Democratic Republic of Congo. Okay, let's move on to the next sentence. The mineral cobalt is used in virtually all batteries in common devices, including mobiles, laptops, and even electric vehicles. So the mineral, we haven't got the right one. The mineral cobalt is used in virtually all batteries in common devices, including mobiles, laptops. Okay, there's two two little words there, so there are two stresses, two main stresses. Laptops and even electric vehicle. Right, now you can see why it's so important when you learn a word is to learn where the main stress is in the word in order to help you with your intonation. Okay, let's go to the weak forms. There we are. So the mineral, cobalt is used in virtually, can you hear that? Virtually all batteries. Now, if you notice, we don't pronounce this E here. We just say batteries. In common, there we are. There's the stress, there's the weak form. Two O's. One is stressed and one is weak. Devices, including mobiles, because they've got a comma, so there's slightly rise here just at the end, very, very slightly. Mobiles, laptops, so there's probably two little hats on those words. Laptops. Okay, we're going up at the end a little bit because we haven't finished the sentence. And even electric vehicles. Notice how you pronounce this word. It's strange, isn't it? We don't actually pronounce the H here, so we pronounce it as like this. Let me write it for you. Veer, and then vehicles. Okay, vehicles. Right, now, and a little schwa in there. Devices including mobiles, laptops, and even electric vehicles. Right, now, any more schwas? Devices including mobiles, laptops, and even electric vehicles. Good. Right. Any linking? Nope, I don't think we've got any linking here. So, let's move on. The mineral cobalt is used in virtually all batteries in common devices, including mobiles, laptops, and even electric vehicles. Cobalt, mined by children, is ending up in products from several companies, including Apple, Microsoft, another one here, Apple, Microsoft, Tesla, and Samsung. Another one here. Okay, so there's your stress. Let's do the weak forms. Cobalt, mined by children, again, schwa, is ending up in products from. Now, this is from, so it becomes, as it's a little linking word, it's from several. Look at that word, several, not several, but several. So let's just take the E out, several, and then we can just put the schwa in. Several companies, companies, including Apple, again, Apple, Microsoft, Tesla, and Samsung. Okay, and the and, I probably used a weak, and Microsoft, Tesla, and Samsung. Good. Now just look at the linking. Is there any linking? Let's have a look. Yes. Ending up here. Can you see the g or the ng is linking to a? Ending up there. I think that's about it. Let's go on to the intonation. So cobalt again goes up and down. Cobalt, mined. Can you hear that? Mined by children. It comes up slightly. Children, it's not very clear. Children is ending up in products from several companies, including Apple, including Apple, Microsoft, Tesla, and Samsung. Right, let's go back because there's some vocabulary here, and that is the one ending up here. Ending up, those two words, ending up. This, of course, is a phrasal verb, to end up, and it means to finally be in a particular place or a situation. For example, I'll end up penniless if I don't stop spending money. Cobalt mined by children is ending up in products from several companies, including Apple, Microsoft, Tesla and Samsung. At barely 10 years old. So, at barely 10 years old, children lug heavy sacks of cobalt to be washed in rivers. Weak forms. So, at, not at, but at. At barely 10 years old, children, again, schwa there for children, lug heavy sacks of cobalt. So, we've got this little word here of to be washed in rivers. To be washed in rivers again. Okay, so notice it's rivers and not rivers. Okay, that's quite a big difference between British English and American English. And of course this at, okay, we have a stop T here, stop T, and it becomes at barely, because you have really this T is before the consonant, the voice consonant B, so it's much easier to flow if you just knock off the T there. You could say at barely, but we normally say at barely. Now, let's go on to the intonation. At barely, okay, it's pretty easy now. Barely, because of course the stress here. At barely 10 years old, children lug heavy sacks. Again, this is up here. Heavy sacks of cobalt. So notice the difference. We've got two syllables here. Heavy, but here, heavy, it actually went up. Heavy sacks of cobalt to be washed in rivers. To be washed in rivers. Down at the end of the sentence. Notice for washed, we don't say washed or washed. We say washed. And that's because it's following this sh sound. Unvoiced consonants followed by ed. Normally the ed is sounded as a t, washed. And of course you need to link this t to that sound I. Okay, so washed in, that vowel. Washed in rivers. Good. Now let's have a look at the vocabulary. Barely 10 years old. At barely 10 years old. So this barely here means only just, and it's a good collocation to make a point about a person's age. Okay, you could make it in a positive way. She learnt how to dance at barely 2 years old. Now the next one here, any more? Yes, lug. What do you think that means? Well, it means to carry with difficulty because it's heavy. You can lug your cases to the airport. Normally you put them on a trolley, but if you don't take the trolley, you have to lug them all the way up the steps or the escalators. I had one person lugging his heavy case all the way up the escalators. He was in a hurry and then he dropped it and it flew all the way back down again and nearly hit me. I was very lucky that day. At barely 10 years old, children lug heavy sacks of cobalt to be washed in rivers. Right, on we go. Even those too young to work spend much of the day breathing in toxic fumes. Okay, so even those too young to work spend much of the day breathing in toxic fumes. To breathe in, okay? Notice to breathe in, not up or not on, not, but you can have breathe in and breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out. So, even, can you hear it? The schwa. Even those too young to work spend much of the day breathing in toxic fumes. Right, next. Let's do the intonation. Oh, are there any linking here? Any linkings? Even those too young to work. Breathing in, of course, there you are. Breathing in toxic fumes. So, let's do the intonation. Even those too young to work work, spend much of the day breathing in toxic fumes. Okay. Oh, now, what does that word mean, toxic? Well, it means poisonous. Not very nice for young children to breathe in poisonous fumes. Even those too young to work spend much of the day breathing in toxic fumes. When asked whether child mind cobalt is being used in their products, all of the firms acknowledged problems with the supply chain, but said they require their suppliers to follow responsible sourcing guidelines. Okay. When asked whether child mind cobalt is being used in their products, all of the firms acknowledged problems with the supply chain, but said they require their suppliers to follow responsible sourcing guidelines. Let's go on to the schwas. When asked whether, okay, here we are, whether, there's no linking R here because it's followed by a C, the consonant C. When asked whether child mind cobalt is being used in their products, all of the firms, all of the firms acknowledged problems with the supply chain, but said they require their suppliers to follow responsible sourcing guidelines. Okay, well, we've done the stress and we've done the weak forms, and linking comes next. Okay, let's have a look at this. So, when asked whether child mind cobalt is being used in their products. And so let's go on to the intonation. When asked whether child mind cobalt is being used in their products, up again there because of the comma, and there's more to come. All of the firms acknowledged problems with the supply chain, but said they require their suppliers, again another schwa, suppliers, to follow responsible sourcing guidelines. Okay, so this is the secondary stress, so it's less high. Can you hear? Guidelines. This is your primary stress. This is your secondary stress. Guidelines. Okay, so that's one's done. Any meaning? Any words here? Let's have a look. Supply chain. Yes, supply chain here. This is a system involved in getting a product from the place it is made to the person who buys it. So right from the very beginning to the end, when you actually buy it in the shops. And then we have sourcing guidelines. Well, the source is the place where you get the product from, and the guidelines help organisations to know how something or somebody does something. So how something is done or how somebody does something. When asked whether child mind cobalt is being used in their products, all of the firms acknowledged problems with the supply chain, but said they require their suppliers to follow responsible sourcing guidelines. Okay, let's move on. Last one. Clearly, that is not happening. And there you go, happening as a little schwa. So, and the intonation. Clearly, that is not made a mistake. That is not happening. Let's go on to the next one. The mineral was followed. There's a secondary stress there. Followed. So let's just followed. Still goes down. Followed as it left. Okay. As it left the mines. Sacks were already mixed up without labels. Okay. Making it impossible to know who had mined the mineral inside. Okay, let's go on to the weak forms. The schwa. Clearly that is not happening. The mineral was followed as it left the mines. That's good. The mineral was followed as it left the mines. Linking? No, that is not. Clearly that is not happening. The mineral was followed as it, not as it, but as it. The S is followed by the I, which is a vowel sound. As it left the mines. Okay. The mineral was followed as it left the mines. Mines comes down there. Sacks were already mixed up without labels, making it impossible to know who had mined the mineral inside. Okay, making it impossible to know who had mined the mineral inside. Down. Right, what else do we need? Yes, words. So mix up, to mix up. Phrasal verb there, to mix up. Mix it up or mix up something. Okay, so that's just to, if you mix up some flour and water, you mix it together and put the ingredients together. You can make glue actually if you mix flour and water. Okay, mix up. Okay, any more on there? Mineral inside. No, I think that's about it on that one. Clearly, that is not happening. The mineral was followed as it left the mines. Sacks were already mixed up without labels, making it impossible to know who had mined the mineral inside. The effort the major companies are making is clearly a drop in the ocean, and these companies need to clean up their act. So the effort, weak form, the major, again it's an OR this time, major, and it's not a linking R because it's followed by a consonant. The major companies are making, I think I said are making because I'm a newsreader here, are making, and therefore it's clearer, is clearly a drop in the ocean. Ocean. And these companies need to clean up their act. Okay, so stress, weak forms, linking. So the effort, look at that, lovely. The effort, that's the linking there. The effort, the major. Now I think I did a stop T here. The effort, the major companies are making. You could link it and then that becomes a weak R, but I don't think I did that because I'm a newsreader. Are making is clearly a drop in the ocean, and these companies need to clean up. Linking their act. Now normally you would probably link this and make it a linking R here because it's followed by the vowel, the A, their act. But as a newsreader, I say it more clearly, and their act, and it makes it more, you can pronounce it more and put more stress on it, make it more dramatic. So now what do? We've done all that, we've done the linking, so we go on to the intonation. So the effort the major companies are making is clearly a drop in the ocean. A drop in the ocean. Okay? A drop in the ocean. And these companies need to clean up Can you hear it? Clean up their act. Right. Now, let's go to, drop in the ocean. I haven't done the linking there. Drop in the ocean. A drop in or a drop in the ocean. So this is a p linking to the vowel sound. Drop in the ocean. A drop in the ocean. So what does it mean? A drop in the ocean means a very small amount compared to the amount needed. Okay, imagine a single drop of water in a whole ocean, the whole sea, how small it is. And then to clean up their act. This could be a phrasal verb on its own, to clean up. To clean up after yourself is just to clean. Did you clean up? But clean up their act, or if you clean up your act, it is to start to obey, in this case, their act is to start to obey certain laws or accepted standards of behaviour. And let's hope, for the sake of those small children, that these companies do. Because let's face it, we all need our mobiles, we all need our laptops, and electric cars are supposed to be good for the environment. So if you find out any more on this, please report back to me. I'd be really happy to find out any more. Thank you. The effort the major companies are making is clearly a drop in the ocean, and these companies need to clean up their act. For more pronunciation explained lessons, go here. And don't forget, if you want to join my speaking club, follow the link below. Love and peace.